Good morning, and it's time to face the music again. I don't know about you, but my mind is still full of that Batmobile. And as we take you on this flight today, I wanted to start by saying that music always works in twos. There's the performer, there's the listener, there's the bass, and there's the treble. And in this project, we've again worked in twos. There's me on stage, but somebody far prettier than me who is backstage. So I thought I'd start with the first exercise for the day. If you can all look around, there'll be a very pretty lady there in the console who's waving, who's done most of the research that goes with this. So Sadhna and I together have taken this wonderful journey in music. We've had a fantastic set of sessions, and one of the things that we realize is as we go across genres of music, we're taking Western classical music, we're taking Carnatic music. There's one genre of music that we're both in love with, which is Hindustani music, but we can't represent adequately well in a 15-minute time slot. So next time, Shoma and Tarun probably should give us a little more time. Our composers, thought leaders. We talk about thought leadership. Were composers thought leaders? Was Bach a thought leader? Was Mozart a thought leader? Was Chopin a thought leader? Was Rahman a thought leader? When we start thinking about these questions, what becomes obvious is that all these people had the ability to take something very abstract. Maybe they just had a great morning. Maybe they had a great night. And they were able to take something abstract like that, turn that thought around into something finite, and create beautiful music out of it, and beautiful music that 300 years later, 400 years later, we are still listening to, we are still responding to. Isn't that true thought leadership? I mean, considering how everything has become compact. Yesterday, this wonderful gentleman was talking to us about a nano chip, was talking to us about compactness in design. In today's world, we know, of course, compactness in design has come into cricket matches as well. But composers thought of compactness in design also. Considering Chopin, because his pupils would not listen to him, I think things have not changed. Students still don't listen to us. He converted an entire waltz into a duration of just 1 minute, and it's called the minute waltz. I don't think it measures exactly 1 minute, but the idea of compactness actually happened all that while ago. But much closer home, there's this wonderful melody that we all know. I don't think any of us can live without it anymore. No, you don't have to sing it. But with this melody, just think about the fact that two ladies in America got up one fine morning, had this thought that they must take a composition that will make children interact with each other better. Something that can be taught to a nursery class so that children come in smiling and are able to look at their friends and say something which is friendly to each other, a problem that is converted to a solution. Which takes me to a very important point. Composers often think of solutions when other people think of problems. So here's a problem, how to make children interact with each other. Becomes a song 200 years ago, that we all sing today at every occasion. Oh, come on, you don't have to clap for happy birthday. But here's again a problem converted to a solution. There's a very, very famous anecdote about Mozart, who created a composition called the musical joke, in which he invented a 11-note chord. And when somebody pointed out to him that, well, you have only 10 fingers, how are you going to play the 11th note? Here's what he did. He said, for the 11th note, use your nose. Composers think of solutions when others think of problems. Chopin thought of a solution when others thought of problems. Composers often change the game, and they play by rules that they set for themselves. They're very good at anticipatory thinking. They're very good at thinking of what the market will be like 5 years from now. What will the market be like 10 years from now? Why should I think by rules which have only been established today? Why can't I think of new things all the time? I can't think of anybody better or closer to home for us than A.R. Rahman, who, when he came out with Roja, I think Roja deserves applause by itself. That in way back in 1992, here he mixes up genres. He takes a beat like this, which is a reggae beat, by itself, it's the reggae beat. It goes with the beach in Goa. And a beautiful Indian melody. With beautiful Western classical background scoring. As a result, you have in these days, when we are fusing everything, it's easy to think of this, but in 1992, I'm sure mixing reggae with Western classical music and Indian classical melody would have been a pretty tough call, which is what makes, again, someone like Rahman a thought leader in terms of being able to change the game and play by different rules. Muthuswami Dikshitar, one of the greatest of the Carnatic classical trinity, who lived, again, about 250 years ago. This is the age before Twitter and Facebook, just to remind you all. Was able to transport himself in thought to the music of the North, sitting in South India. He took the music of the North, started adopting ragas from the North into South Indian music. This is fusion music before we even started using words like this. For example, he takes a raga called Jai Javanti from North Indian classical music and presents it in South Indian music as Dvijavanti. What's amazing is that the North and South, before Facebook and Twitter were invented, were fusing much better. Of course, when you have a leader, you have to have a follower. Most composers have had followers. So Ilayaraja, one of the great composers of South Indian film music, composed this tune. It reprised itself in Chini Kam, for those of you who remember that. And this was from a film called Maunaragam, again in the 80s. From that set of arrangements, we have another song by Rahman, which follows the same chord pattern, the same note tonality pattern, and that one goes. Similarly, Beethoven no, he didn't copy from Rahman. Goes on to become a composer, goes on to influence the style of a composer called Carl Czerny, who does who influences this composer called Liszt. And so on and so on and so on and so on until we get as we keep discussing everything from nanotechnology to Batmobiles to the war on terror, one thing that I think the great composers of music have given us as a legacy, what both my colleague Sadhna and I have discovered is the greatest legacy that the music composers have given us is the ability to never say die. Music will always continue and music will always endure much after all of us have gone away. Thank you very much.